What's up, guys? Your boy Recon. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my OP Sentinel build. Just want to show you guys how to get the most DPS. The armor I'm using, now you can use whatever armor you guys want. It's up to you which way you guys want to go with it. But personally, I have been using the N7. Now the N7 gives you better biotics. That's why I'm going with it. You can see there it gives you 5% recharge speed, 4% power damage. So it's important that you choose the right armor for your build as well. You can see there more biotic power damage. So I also put augmentations. You can see in this one here it has more biotic power damage as well. You know, the build when I made it, it was specific for this specific Sentinel build as well. So you want to make sure that all these things correspond. You know, you get your armor to kind of coincide with whatever build you're doing. In this case, we are going with biotics. So let's get into it here. I'll show you the Singularity is one I chose. Now there's reasons for this. Now you can switch up Singularity kind of to do different things. At the beginning, obviously, you're gonna have to pick what they give you here, the first three. With the damage per second and the recharge speed, which coincides with the fact that we already have you know, recharge speed in the Sentinel build itself. So now that just gives us even more recharge speed. And then on top of that, we've got a 25% effect radius. Now it's important to me to have this because with the Singularity, it also, once you use it to pull people in, you can then hold the button to explode it as well and create even more damage. So out of the two, that's the one I went with. The duration isn't as important. It's more about damage. So that's what we're going for here. 25% recharge speed. So I'm trying to make it hurry up. Like I said, we're going with as much recharge speed as we can. So that just adds another 25%. So we are going to get our skills back really quick and be able to just keep comboing over and over again for the most DPS. Here I went with the area damage and the force itself, as opposed to the expanding of the radius over 200%. I once again went with damage because we are going for DPS here. So it's up to you which one you want to pick there, but if you're going for damage, that's the way you want to set up Singularity. Now barrier, you're gonna want to take the first three. And then out of these two, I took the max shields to add more, more to your defense is what you're doing here. It's all you can really do. So I added it to my shield. Up to you which one you picked there. Also here, I picked the 10% weapon weight capacity, 10% biotic power shield cost reduction, and 10% movement speed while shields are active. Because one, we've got the reduction, the cost reduction there, the biotic, to do with the biotic power, which is important. And up here, it just gives you the max shields with an active biotic effect of 40%. So up to you which one you want to choose there. But personally, I would pick this one because your power shield cost reduction goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do here. The last one, you're going to want to pick the shield restored at low health. It saves your ass more often than not. So when you're at low health, it'll just kick it in and give you that 100% health again. And then of course there is a 10-second, won't do it again for another 10 seconds. But I mean, if it's going to give you back all that health, you have 10 seconds before you need to worry about it, dying again or getting down to low health. So that's a really important one, in my opinion, to make sure you have on as well. The offensive side of things, you're just going to do the first three that it gives you. And then I obviously went with as much biotic power here as I possibly could, trying to get, as much recharge speed as I could, because I knew that you can take the damage if you want. We were talking about getting DPS, but the recharge speed is more important. We're trying to stack as much recharge speed as we can get so we can just keep comboing over and over and over again. So that way when one skill comes back, the next one's, or you just put out a skill, the next one has already come back and is ready to go. So you can just keep going back and forth and doing your combos. So make sure you pick your recharge speed to try and stack that with the other recharge speeds that we've already picked. I went with the 25% biotic detonator damage because we are going to be detonating all three of our skills now are going to be able, you see as we move on here into the build, that all 3 of them are going to be detonators. Yes, we are going to be having 3 primers, but all 3 of them are going to be changed into detonating as well. So it's important to make sure that your detonating damage bonus is up there, because we are going to be doing a lot of combos. And then of course 40% all combo radiuses, so it just throws in a little bit added effect for you there. The defense debuff of biotic effects by 20%, you know, it's just not as powerful in this build since we are going for DPS. With the last one, I went with 30% biotic damage bonus. Like I said, out of the 2, it just made more sense to go with the biotic damage bonus, because that's what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to get our skills and our combos to do as much damage as possible, not the weapons and the melees, you know, attacks for this build. That's not what we're focusing on. So moving forward onto the containment, you're gonna do the first 3. And then here I chose to put the 15% biotic area of effect radius on instead of the biotic effect duration, because I just want to get as much area of effect for damage more so than the duration itself. Because like I said, we're just going to be firing them off simultaneously back and forth, because we have so much recharge, we have such a high recharge speed that we don't really need to worry about the duration of it. So then 50% all combo damage versus shields, because we're going to be smashing those combos off really hard, and we're just going to keep going one after the other. So I didn't go with the Biotic Combo detonations knockdown on armored and unshielded normal sized enemies. Instead I went for the damage, for obvious reasons in this build. Now you are going to want to put on the 20% biotic area of effect radius here, and the 40% biotic area of effect force. Because like I said, when we blast off Singularity, it's just going to cause a lot more damage at the end of one of our combos, and that's important more so than this one was. So moving on to our techs, now I have gone with Incinerate and Energy Drain. Don't pay attention to this if you don't know what this is, it just kind of gives it to you anyways. Focus on Incinerate and Energy Drain here. So first in Incinerate, we're going to go with the first 3, and we know that this is a primer, but as you move on through down the tier, it will also become a detonator, which is important to know. So we're going to put 15% damage over time and 30% duration added onto it, because we want to try and prolong the burning effect that Incinerate has to create more DPS, and you know, that's important, especially with the damage over time. Those go hand in hand. Then we're going to add 50% damage versus armor, just to try and dig in on their armor, try and make that primer really set off our combo over the 30% initial damage, because this is a primer, so damage versus armor is more important for us, because that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to set ourselves up for the combo, and you cannot do that if they have any armor. With the last one, we are going to use the triggers the combo detonations. Now this is important. There is no choice here other than this one. You really got to go with the detonation, because that's what we're doing here, is we're trying to create a 3 detonators and 3 primers all in one. The way we have Singularity to pull people in, and also detonate at the very end of it. Now we also have Incinerate to do a priming effect, you know, burning over time, getting their armor down, and then at the end it also detonates as well. So make sure you pick that. Energy Drain, you're going to pick the first 3 as you normally would. You're going to want to pick 20% recharge speed. Like I said, we are stacking that recharge speed, trying to make it as fast as possible so that we can keep doing combos. Shield restoration per second, and shield restores duration of 4 seconds. Now I chose this over the impact radius and the shield restored per additional target, 33%. Just because it's up to you really which ones you want to pick here, because it doesn't really have a lot to do with the focus of this build. But I would prefer to restore my shield a little bit faster, so I can get back into the fight. Now the last one, very important that you go with the 20% damage and the 40% damage versus shields and the 15% damage versus synthetics. It's just the better way to go. Like I said, we're trying to take down their shields, and we're trying to create as much damage as we possibly can. So it's important to increase both your standard damage and the damage bonus against the shields and synthetic enemies. This is the other choice here. It's ally shield restored and your ally effect radius, but we're worried more about our personal gains than we are everybody else who's on the team. So that is that part of the build. And then down here, you're going to go with the offensive tech. You're going to pick these, the first 3, obviously. You want to go with 20% tech damage bonus to armor, because, like I said, we're trying to break down that armor for our detonation, and then also 30% tech detonator damage. So now when our detonation goes off, it's going to smash them with 30% more damage. And then of course your elemental defense debuff is at 35%, because we're not going with the weapons on here, we're going strictly for the skills and trying to create a combo that creates the most damage. So with the auxiliary systems, you're going to pick the first 3, then you're going to move here to 100% combo priming rate. Now, as far as I understand, the way I read this is just going to make it so that when you do actually do your combo and try and detonate it off, you're going to have a 100% rate of it actually being effective. So this, to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but this is going to give you a 100% prime every time you set off or you begin a combo. Let me know if you have a different opinion of that in the way you read it, but as far as I know, that's how I understand it. I went with the 25% tech effect duration, just because between the two here, it was either the area of effect radius or the duration, and like we said, we're always trying to prime them, so it's better, in my opinion, to try and incinerate them and get more of a duration out of that than it is to try and get a radius out of it, because we already have crowd control with singularity. And then I went with the power recharge time rebate of 50% over the shield regenerations, just because we are obviously trying to create our combos and trying to get our damage that way. So that is the build, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of this build in action and just how much damage it can do. So as you can see, I'm bunkered down in the corridor, so I throw out my singularity to create some havoc, hit them with the energy drain for some biotic combo, and then send out incinerate for a finisher on the approaching Ket. And then to make some room, I activate singularity to blast the remaining Ket back and move out. With this setup, you will have access to 3 different possible combinations: tech combos, fire combos, and the most powerful of the 3, the biotic combos. To produce a fire combo, you will throw out your incinerate to prime the enemy, then detonate it with energy drain. For a tech combo, you will want to throw out energy drain first and then hit them with incinerate. For a biotic combo, you have options. You can send out singularity followed by energy drain, which will pump out some serious DPS, especially if you are able to pull in more than one enemy. But if you're feeling froggy, you can send out singularity, energy drain, and then throw an incinerate for a double biotic combo. Land this and follow it up by detonating your singularity blast, and no one is sure to be standing around when it's over. I hope this helps you guys out. If it did and you would like to see more great builds, please hit that like button. Also, for more great Mass Effect guides, subscribe to my channel. For now, I'm your boy Recon, and I'm out. Peace.